Hello Army. Welcome back to this channel, the place where we celebrate everything beautiful about BTS, about 7 extraordinary men who have changed the world of music, and of course, about a friendship that melts our hearts every single day. If you think you already know everything about how close the BTS members are, then I promise you, this video is going to make your tears fall without warning. Because today, we are going to talk about something truly special. We are going to talk about the moments where RM, Kim Namjoon, the leader of BTS, showed just how deeply he cares for Jimin, Park Jimin, the sunshine of BTS. And one of the most iconic moments of their friendship, Tokyo was there to witness it all. So get comfortable, grab your tissues, because this story is not just about idols. It is about 2 human beings who genuinely look after each other in the most real and beautiful way possible. Before we get to the main moment, let us take a small step back. Because to truly understand how meaningful this friendship is, you need to know who these 2 people really are, not just as performers, but as human beings. RM, born Kim Namjoon on September 12, 1994, in Ilsan, South Korea, is the leader of BTS, not just in title, but in spirit and action. As the one who carries the greatest weight of the group, RM is known for his wisdom, his emotional openness, and his ability to think deeply about everything around him. Beyond his music, which is filled with philosophical depth, he is someone who cares intensely about the people in his life. Jimin, born Park Jimin on October 13, 1995, in Busan, South Korea, is BTS's main dancer, a vocalist whose voice can make you cry without any clear reason, and honestly, the person who seems impossible not to love. Jimin is warm, expressive, full of affection, but he is also someone who often keeps his anxieties quietly to himself. 2 very different personalities. One more introspective and reflective, the other expressive and full of energy. But that is exactly where the beauty lies. The closeness between RM and Jimin is known to be deeply emotional and intellectual. Many describe their bond as one built on profound mutual trust, where RM considers Jimin the member who understands him most deeply, while Jimin often turns to RM for support, even being the first person Jimin called during important milestones. Think about that for a moment. Out of all 6 other BTS members, Jimin chose Namjoon as the first person to call. That is not a coincidence. That is a choice made from the heart. Japan, and Tokyo in particular, holds a deeply special place in BTS's story. Since the early days of their career, Japan has been BTS's second largest market after Korea. They have performed tours there, recorded music, and held fan meetings in cities across the country. But beyond being a place of work, Tokyo became a city where the BTS members would unwind, breathe, and simply be themselves. And it is here that one moment Army will never forget truly unfolded. Picture a night in Tokyo, the city that never sleeps. Neon lights illuminating the streets, people moving in every direction, and somewhere in a quiet corner, 2 friends, RM and Jimin, are sharing one of the many precious moments in their lives. When Jimin was not at his best, whether from exhaustion, the pressure of a packed schedule, or simply one of those vulnerable moments that arrive without invitation, RM was there. Not as a leader issuing directions, not as a colleague offering professional solutions, but as a true friend who simply stayed, accompanied, and looked after him. This is what real friendship looks like. Not just showing up for the good times, but especially being there in the fragile ones. The Army community has a name for every beloved duo within BTS. There is Min for V and Jimin, Namjoon for RM and Jin. But there is one pairing that is equally adored, Namin, or more tenderly known as Minamoni across the global fandom. And the name Minamoni was not just invented out of nowhere by fans. It was born from real moments, from a warmth that becomes unmistakably visible every single time these 2 members share a frame. On October 13, 2023, Jimin's 28th birthday, RM surprised everyone by showing up in person during Jimin's Weverse birthday live. With 3 BTS members already serving in the military and the schedules of others fully packed, a personal appearance seemed unlikely. Yet RM came through, greeting Jimin by the shoulders and enthusiastically wishing him a happy birthday. And he did not just make a brief appearance. He stayed, sitting with Jimin and sharing that moment with millions of watching Army around the world. The reaction from Army? Completely broken. but in the most beautiful way imaginable. Comments flooded in. "I'm going to cry forever," and "my beloved Minimoni," because in the middle of everything, in the middle of busy lives and a world that moves fast, RM chose to be there. And that meant everything. If you want to truly understand the closeness between two people, listen to how they talk about music with each other. Because for RM and Jimin, music is not just a job. It is the language through which they communicate, support each other, and learn more about who the other really is. In a content series called MMM, Mini and Moni Music, RM was seen in conversation with Jimin about his new album. RM admitted that he felt nervous the first time he played his music for Jimin, because the genre was different from what he normally does. But Jimin always showed his full support, saying that RM's album felt like a diary, something that allowed people to truly understand RM's feelings through his music. Stop and think about that for a second. RM, a leader who has performed on world stages for over a decade, who has released solo albums, who has spoken at the United Nations, was still nervous to play his music for Jimin. That is not weakness. That is proof of how deeply he respects Jimin's perspective and how much Jimin's opinion matters to him. And Jimin? He did not just listen. He understood. He saw RM not as an idol or a leader, but as a human being with all his complexity and vulnerability. The two of them talked about RM's anxieties over the past 10 years. RM shared that he sometimes felt like a light switch, something that could turn off and on without warning. And Jimin listened, without judgment, without trying to fix anything, just present, and that was already enough. There is something fascinating about the dynamic between RM and Jimin that often gets overlooked. The way RM balances his role as leader with his role as friend. As leader, RM is the one who speaks first when BTS faces a major challenge. He represents the group in important speeches, in international interviews, in the critical moments of BTS's career. That responsibility is enormous, and not everyone sees the weight of it. But behind all of that responsibility is a Namjoon who is simply human, who gets tired, who needs a friend, who also needs to be cared for. And this is where Jimin shows up for RM in a way that is just as beautiful. RM's care for the members around him, including Jimin, is a reflection of friendship, mutual respect, and a deep love within BTS. For fans, moments like these are precious precisely because they reveal the very human side of these idols. True friendship is never about who is stronger or wiser. Sometimes, true friendship is about two people who take turns being each other's support. One of the most emotionally significant chapters in BTS's journey, and in the friendship between RM and Jimin, was the period of mandatory military service they each had to complete. Imagine, for years, they had always been together, training together, performing together, eating together, crying together. And then suddenly, they were separated, unable to see each other freely, unable to share the small daily moments that had always felt so ordinary. But that is exactly where the value of their friendship was put to the test. After completing his military service, Jimin expressed his heartfelt gratitude to the fans who had waited patiently and promised that BTS would come back and show them their very best. And that reunion truly happened in the most extraordinary way. On July 1st, 2025, all 7 BTS members appeared together in a Weverse live stream. The first time since September 2022 that all members had appeared together in a live format. The broadcast immediately drew more than 7.3 million viewers in real time. 7.3 million people, all at once, to witness 7 friends finally coming back together. And when Jimin opened that broadcast with the words, "We're back, guys," there was not a single army on earth whose chest did not tighten with overwhelming joy. After all BTS members completed their military service, those warm moments of togetherness returned. Jimin shared his summer vacation with RM and jhope, 3 BTS members seen relaxing together by the beach, dressed casually and simply enjoying each other's company. That photo was not just a vacation snapshot. It was a picture of 3 friends who had weathered the storm, military service, career pressure, loneliness, and longing, and were now standing together again, smiling, under the same sun. Tokyo has always had a particular magic when it comes to BTS. The city has served as the backdrop for so many unforgettable BTS moments. Concerts, recordings, and private personal times that rarely make their way to the public eye. There is something about Tokyo that makes it the perfect city for friendships to grow deeper. A city that is modern, yet still carries a certain quiet. A city that is busy but always has a corner of stillness where you can breathe. When RM and Jimin are in Tokyo together, there is a version of them that feels more relaxed, more natural. They are not BTS performing perfectly on stage. They are just Namjoon and Jimin, two people who enjoy wandering around, eating good food, and having long conversations about things that actually matter. In an interview for Vivi magazine, Jimin spoke about his experience traveling to Tokyo and how he had originally hoped to go to Japan with V as well, but the timing simply did not work out. This is a small detail, but it tells us something important. That Tokyo has always been a city the BTS members dream of visiting with the people they love most. And when RM is the one beside Jimin in that city, it is never just about the schedule. It is about the conscious choice to be fully present for his friend. So what can we actually learn from the friendship between RM and Jimin? Because beyond the fandom, beyond the fan-made compilations and the trending hashtags, there are real-life lessons woven into how these two people treat each other. The first lesson: real friendship is not afraid of vulnerability. RM is a genius, a leader of the world's biggest K-pop group, self-taught in English, someone who has shaped an entire generation of young people through his words and music. And yet he did not hesitate to be honest with Jimin about his fears, his anxieties, the days when he felt like a light that could go out. And Jimin received all of that without filters. That is what makes their friendship feel so real, not because they are perfect, but because they are completely themselves in front of each other. The second lesson: showing up matters more than saying the right words. When RM came to Jimin's birthday in person, he did not need an expensive gift or a long speech. He just needed to arrive, to hold Jimin by the shoulders and say, "Happy birthday." And that was enough to make millions of ARMY cry happy tears. It is a reminder we all need, that sometimes the greatest thing we can offer someone we love is simply our presence. The third lesson: friendship takes consistent effort. In the middle of packed schedules, military service that pulled them apart, and individual solo projects demanding their attention, RM and Jimin kept their connection alive. They kept meeting, kept talking, kept showing up for each other's work. Friendship does not sustain itself automatically. Friendship is a choice, one that has to be made every single day. The fourth lesson: true friends celebrate each other, not compete. Jimin always showed his full support to RM, describing his album as something that helped people truly understand RM's inner world through music. There is no envy hidden there, no quiet rivalry. When RM succeeds, Jimin is genuinely happy. When Jimin shines, RM is genuinely proud. They cheer for each other with complete sincerity, and that is the purest form of love that friendship can hold. We are now in 2026. BTS has fully returned. Military service is behind them. A new album is being prepared. A world tour has been announced. BTS shared that they began producing their new album in the United States and several other countries, with a planned release in spring 2026, marking BTS's return with their first full group album since B, released in 2020. And for Indonesian ARMY, there is incredibly special news. BTS announced their 2026 world tour, and Jakarta is included in the list of cities, with 2 days of concerts scheduled, a joyful moment for Indonesian fans who have been waiting nearly a decade since BTS last performed in Indonesia back in 2017. That means very soon, we will watch RM and Jimin standing on the same stage again, side by side, singing together, laughing together, and perhaps in some moment backstage, away from all the cameras, RM will rest his hand on Jimin's shoulder, gently, like he has done so many times before, as if to say, "I'm here, we're here." And that is exactly why we, as ARMY, have never loved them just for their music. We love them for who they are to each other. If RM and Jimin could ever read these words, and who knows, perhaps an ARMY somewhere will find a way to share this with them. Here is what we want to say. Namjoon, thank you for always being the kind of friend who shows up. Thank you for never growing tired of caring for the people you love, even when you yourself are exhausted. You often say that BTS feels like a vacation to you, a place you come home to. And seeing how you care for Jimin, we know he is one of the most important parts of that home. Jimin, thank you for allowing yourself to be looked after. Thank you for trusting RM. Thank you for being someone who inspires people around you to want to protect you. Not because you are fragile, but because the love you radiate makes everyone want to give it back to you. The warmth RM has shown toward Jimin is not just a simple reaction. It is a true reflection of friendship, respect, and deep love within BTS. And for us, the ARMY watching all of this from afar, we are lucky. We are lucky to be witnesses to a friendship this beautiful. A friendship that teaches us that presence is the greatest gift, that vulnerability is its own kind of strength, and that genuine love does not need to shout to be heard. Tokyo has been a witness. The world stage has been a witness. And now, millions of ARMY hearts around the world are witnesses too. That RM and Jimin, two stars that are different but always light each other up, are living, breathing proof that true friendship exists. And that, above everything else, is the moment none of us will ever forget. Alright, ARMY, that was the full story of RM's unforgettable moment caring for Jimin. Proof of a genuine and beautiful friendship that has warmed all of our hearts. If this video made you feel something real, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so you never miss a new BTS video every week. Drop a comment below. Which RM and Jimin moment hit you the hardest? I genuinely cannot wait to read what you have to say. Purple Heart. See you in the next video, ARMY. Stay purple. Borai. Purple Heart.